What's good, YouTube? I'm back with another video. Today we're back to Nick Crowley, the darkest kids TV shows ever made. Well, I said shows, show. Let's just get straight into it. This is part two. Y'all already know what we're here for. Let's just get straight into it. We left off here.
Sally. Amen. And so the Lord's really setting us freer and freer to obey and to be free and to show that sample of freedom and love to the world.
It's all coming back to me how crazy this was, bro. This is actually crazy.
Life with Grandpa was literally created
At first it seemed innocent, and then it just went left. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Nah, Grandpa's a menace.
Indoctrinate
Grandpa's
kids
actually a
into a
menace to
Felix
society.
sex cult. And it makes you realize why exactly it and so many other of the cult's programs were hammering home this point of not questioning your parents or any adults, and to simply obey and smile.
So the right thing is
to obey.
Because the adults in their lives were now suddenly doing unimaginable things to them. And they were being groomed not to question it, making some of the show's segments horrendous in hindsight.
One very special way you can show the big people that you love them is by giving them lots of hugs, kisses, and cuddles. Oh. Child's...
I'm sorry. It just gets to a certain point. The thing that I got with hugging it, okay, you hug and kiss your child as a parent, but it's where you do it at. If you doing it on the lips, I'm sorry. It don't matter if you're a mother, a father. It don't matter what you are. It's weird. I'm sorry. You do it on the cheek, the forehead. You let your child kiss you on the cheek or the forehead. Okay, that's okay. Y'all can hug for a long time, do this, and that. Okay. But when it comes to kissing on the lips and doing all that, like grabbing, like that's not parent no more. That's weird. That's weird. Okay.
Love and affection really encourages and inspires the big people.
It was normalizing their abuse, and because of this, many children never questioned the horrible assaults that they endured. Assaults that were all fueled and pushed by David Berg's sick perversions.
God created boys and girls able to have children by about the age of 12 years of age. My God, now he's gonna have...
This nigga just sounds like, bro, what the fuck? He just sounds like creepy as fuck. It's just like, how do certain people... It's probably because this is older, right? It gotta be the tape. Like, he can't really sound like that, man. This man sounds like a tier 1 villain.
Child and sex. Yes.
Which were far from theoretical, as Berg himself allegedly partook in this practice repeatedly with his own children and stepchildren, as incest was also a key point of his teachings. And his adult followers rarely dared to question this, as those who refused to partake in Berg's latest teachings were again at risk of removal from the group, which is even more devastating for those who had children, as much like all of their possessions, their kids were pledged and belonged to the family. And the kids themselves couldn't seek help either, as those that refused to trust and obey were sent away to actual prison camps owned by the cult until they were basically reprogrammed.
They made camps. I was sent with my brother to the Philippines. We had armed guards from the Filipino military keeping us in. They would publicly beat you if you asked to leave, then try to break you and get you to confess.
And the group continuously got away with
Confess
this too,
to what?
thanks in large part to Berg's...
The fuck are you confessing to? Like, this nigga's just... Oh my goodness, bro. It's like people like this, you just see him and it's just like, bro, you know all it took was one person to just sock this nigga. Like, bro, why didn't one person just like, one person? Like, all these people see this going on and not one person did something? Like, bro, he doesn't look that hard to punch. I'm sorry. He don't look like no top tier mafia nigga. Like, I don't think, well, not in the sense of he can't do shit. I'm saying in the sense of, like, nobody can touch him. I think in moments of time, he was most likely touchable. Motherfucker's just weird, bro.
Orchestration of the group leaving the United States, which looking back was almost certainly done on purpose. Plus, many members were actually living in hiding. In fact, all of the members were made to change their names upon joining the group, and most were told to never give out their last names, meaning that if any child wanted to report the abuse that had happened to them, they would be unable to provide even the names of their abusers. And this included Berg too, who at this point lived most of his life in hiding, going by numerous aliases to avoid detection. Aliases like King, Moses, Mo, Dad, and eventually...
I ain't gonna lie, this is crazy, man. It's just, that's all you can really say about it. That was crazy, bro.
And eventually...
Grandpa.
Grandpa. The entire show was about him, David Berg, which is why he was shown as a wise, unquestioned religious-like figure who the children were made to look up to. And that wasn't all, as the characters shown alongside Berg were also members of his real-life family that lived with him in a remote commune. Mother Maria was the nickname of Karen Zerby, David's wife who helped him run the cult and facilitate this era of hypersexualization.
Okay, they ever like face their crimes? Because they're old as shit, so I'm thinking like no. Because like, what if something happened to them before they did? Like, that's sad if it happened. I don't know, man.
While Aunt Sarah was based on Sarah Kelly, the woman in charge of running the prison camp made to punish the kids who dared question the family's beliefs.
Sarah Kelly, who was responsible for me being held against my will in the Philippines.
But the most grotesque detail to come from the revelation of who these characters are was that it showcased David Berg's polygamy, as he was actually married to many people in the real world, and 2 characters on the show itself, Mother Maria and Davida, his then 5-year-old stepdaughter. Davida would eventually go on to tell her story, stating that she had been Berg's child bride.
And there was a ceremony with the ring and everything, and once I turned 5 years old was when I was implicated into being one of his queens, so to speak.
Along with allegations that she had been victimized by him countless times. And she wasn't the only victim of Berg's perversions.
I don't even know what to say about this shit, bro. It's just like, what do you even say? I don't know, man. It's just, you can say it's crazy, but that's all. I keep on saying it like, wow, that's crazy. Because it's just like, bro, what the fuck else am I supposed to say? This shit, I don't know, man. It's just like, what the fuck?
She was often sexualized by Berg publicly, with Berg having stories made and illustrated depicting his fantasies about her when she was just a child. On top of this, numerous people within the group also claimed that she had been outright assaulted by the hands of Berg, as well as many others in the group.
And look at our pretty, pretty girls today. You're dressed in such nice dresses and your hair looks so nice. Yes, you look so pretty for all the children that are watching today.
The context of who these characters are makes this already disturbing show that much more sickening. But of all of the horrible stories to come from the real-life characters of Life with Grandpa, there's one that is far and away the most horrific. The story of Davidito.
David is such a handsome boy, isn't he?
What could it be now, bro?
Would you like for David to share some more lessons?
Yes, Grandpa.
Are you all ready? Okay, David, you have the floor.
His real name was Ricky Rodriguez, and as a baby, he was taken in as Berg's son following Maria conceiving him with a man after a night of flirty fishing. And being David's first son, he was given the nickname Davidito. As for David Berg, he viewed this child as essentially a messiah. He began telling his followers that Davidito would one day save them from the apocalypse, causing Davidito to become a celebrity within the group and worshipped as a religious figure when he was just a baby. Which explains why he was given so much airtime during Life with Grandpa, and why he was constantly being showered with gifts.
We want to give you a little surprise because you were such a good witness.
And for David and Karen, they wanted Davidito's life and childhood to be a guide for all members of the group, as they raised him in what they believed to be the perfect manner for a godly household. And so the couple and several other contributors documented the way he was raised, with daily journal entries that were published as weekly newsletters, and eventually turned into one massive book titled The Story of Davidito. And the family truly believed that this over 700-page book was the ultimate guide for parenting and showed the only proper way to raise a child, though what it actually showed was just how badly Davidito was being abused. Davidito was described laying next to his nude nannies, witnessing orgies involving his own mother, and being touched sexually by the adults around him, with these examples being presented through not only written stories, but actual photographs, with the adults involved having their faces.
What? Photographs? They got y'all in 4K? What happened to these people? Don't tell me he's gonna tell us all this information and not tell us what happened to him, bro. Because at this point, I need to know. I'm just saying it. It's like a need to know thing. Because like, couldn't just got away, right? It's public now. Like, I need to know.
Faces removed and drawings placed over the top of them in order to hide their identities. The book was not only promoting sexual acts with children, but it was outright showing it, and showing it happen to Davidito. And because of this, we have a daily journal entry of all the abuse that this child suffered, starting when he was an infant. Despite all the heinous acts that had been going on within the family, they had up until this point gone virtually unchecked by the public eye. But the story of Davidito would prove to be the first domino to fall, as the book leaked to the press.
Tonight, the cult Children of God, founded by Moses David Berg, he reportedly sanctioned sex among children.
This immediately became a news story all across the world, and it began shining a light on the family and its twisted beliefs. But despite all the constant news coverage, and the story of Davidito being tangible proof of the cult's horrible practices, there was still essentially nothing done to stop them, as very few arrests were ever made as a result, and even fewer resulted in convictions.
What?
So nothing was ever done to help Davidito. And so during his entire childhood and his early adult years, he stayed with the group. Though the older he got, the more he began to see the family for what they really were. And the constant pain that he was experiencing eventually made him want to just run away from it all. And so, in 1999, that's exactly what he did, fleeing to the United States in the hopes of starting a new life. Though this was easier said than done, and no amount of distance was enough to keep him away from his tortured past. At one point during his time in the United States, Ricky actually opened up about the struggles he was experiencing on a website made for survivors of the family. And there, he documented just how bad things really were for him and several others behind the scenes, living with Berg, appropriately titling the post, Life with Grandpa. It was apparent that he was haunted by this life that he tried to escape, as the trauma was an everyday cycle of hell, and he just couldn't take it anymore.
You know that sometimes the Lord likes to test our faith, to teach us patience, and to really make us pray? This is just what happened to me once.
It would go so freaking hard. So I should just get the card. The card should just come to me. Where you guys?
This is just what happened to me once.
What?
Well, hey everyone. I want people to know that even though some of the things that I'm going to try to do are rather shocking and maybe not right in a lot of people's books, I want to explain some of the reasons behind it.
On January 7th, 2005, Ricky Rodriguez set up a video camera in his apartment and expressed his desire to kill his mother and other leaders of the group for all the dreadful things that they had done not only to him, but to all the other children, with his hope being that this would finally bring down the family once and for all.
My goal is to get those sick bucks, Ma and Peter, and, then I can go to the next life knowing that, that I made a difference.
With Ricky going as far as to show off the various ways that he planned on torture.
That's really crazy, and just to think that they worshipped him, and that's how you know how dark that shit is. Like, he was like a person that really could have benefited from that, and he really was like, what the fuck are y'all doing, bro? And he had the sense to grow up and be like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, what do y'all have going on? Like, and what I mean by benefit from that is that he said that they worshipped him and stuff like that. So it was just like, cult leader type thing. So it was just like, bro, to see him want to do that just shows how, yeah. And want to commit to it and then do it to yourself in GTA is just...
I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here. Got lots of fucking duct tape.
God knows, He hears, He cares. He loves His girls and boys. He gives His very best to those who let Him choose the toys.
By this point, David Berg had been dead for years, though the family carried on with his mother, Karen Zerby, assuming full control, which explains why she was the primary target. And much like Berg, Karen spent most of her life in hiding, with Ricky being unable to track her down, though he was able to find Angela Smith, one of the nannies responsible for raising him, as well as one of his most prominent abusers, as she was even shown in the story of Davidito assaulting him. At this point, Ricky was exhausted, and Angela was his last shot at getting intel to help him find his mother and finally carry through on his plans. And so, he invited her over for dinner, under the guise of rejoining the group.
I went home that night and tried to wait patiently.
Wow. So we already know what's gonna happen. What was the show actually made, though? Because I know at this point we're in 1990s. Well, we were in 1990s the whole time, but I mean in 1990s, when they go 2000.
for the next day. But the Lord still had more lessons that he wanted to teach me. This is what happened.
Before Ricky could even get the information he was looking for, something in him snapped, and midway through their conversation, Ricky grabbed a knife and stabbed Karen in the arm, and then slit her throat. He fled the area that night, driving for hours until he reached California, the place that years before David Berg had started the family. There, he called his ex-wife, professing to everything he did, saying that he did it mainly for his sister Techi, but he felt no better.
Who's
in fact,
Techi?
He felt worse. And even looking back at the video,
Well, we
it's
know who
very obvious that
Techi
this
is,
was
but
something
what is Techi now?
that Ricky didn't truly want to do, and instead he felt like he had to do it to avenge everyone that the family had hurt.
I'm not trained. I don't know how to fucking do this. I don't want to fucking do this. God damn it.
And it was too late to take back what he did. And so he stopped the car in a dark parking lot, sat there for a moment thinking about everything that had happened during his painful life, and ended his suffering once and for all.
I mean, in a way, that's what these fuckers have done to us. Didn't actually, grab a knife and cut us up, but, man, they sure fucked up our brains. That's the way it was at Grandpa and Mama's house. Literally or figuratively, they're going down. So, with that happy thought, I shall leave you.
Wow.
Ricky Rodriguez's death was devastating for the community of survivors of the family, and it caused shockwaves all throughout the family itself, as his final video was plastered all over the news. And though it didn't happen in the way he expected it or wanted it to, Ricky's life and death undoubtedly contributed to the decline of the family, and helped diminish the cycle of abuse within the group. Starting from the story of Davidito, the public pressure forced Berg to outlaw the widespread abuse that he once preached. And though it is believed that it never really came to an end, it was at the very least significantly reduced. And by the time the news began to cover Ricky's death, it proved to be the final wake-up call for many still within the group, as they finally began to see through the facade that had once controlled.
Now you do. Now you do. Got me stuttering, man. The countless touching of not legal people didn't indicate anything. That didn't raise any bells. Like that didn't help you. It took okay.
Their lives.
Like Grandpa says, prayer is powerful. When we pray, things will happen and things will be different.
It's difficult to watch any of Life with Grandpa, knowing its history, its purpose, and the real people that it was inspired by. Though as soon as the media began taking notice of the cult, many members were made to purge the media that was sent to them that may be considered incriminating. And as a result, it appears that most of Life with Grandpa is missing to this day, and potentially destroyed forever. Currently, only 4 episodes have been recovered, and it's not even known how many more were released, or even what year the show started or ended. But considering how closely the show mirrored the book, it's possible that these potentially missing and destroyed episodes are much worse than the ones we have today. But despite not knowing the full extent of the show, it's clear that Life with Grandpa and the countless other programs that the family made did exactly what they wanted them to. They brainwashed an entire generation of the cult's children, and the effects were devastating.
Moral of the story, he's saying these aren't even the worst videos.
Extremely agitated when we asked them about Moses David Berg's teachings on sex.
My Little Fish. Now, your father described that as a routine publication.
They're not having sex, they're just kissing and hugging in bed. That's not sex. If you show it to other people, they don't understand. That stuff's not supposed to be publicized. So many people think sex is wrong. So many people hate us. But we just...
The fuck? Oh my goodness, man. Okay.
Telling them the truth, we're just telling them it's not wrong. We're just telling them that there's nothing wrong with it. And here come these publicizers doing them to everybody.
Between the strange content from the program itself, its obvious attempts at indoctrinating kids into a cult that was only ever going to harm them, the real-life people behind the characters, and the fact that this propaganda was so effective, I have no doubt that Life with Grandpa is the darkest children's show that I've ever come across. Though, shockingly, there's somehow one more layer to the story that makes this program even more disturbing.
I don't think it's gonna be more disturbing because what could be more disturbing? Like more disturbing is crazy. That dude just did some mad disturbing stuff. Like if you heard what he just did, if you weren't watching, I don't know why, but if you heard what bro just did, like I can't even say what he just did, but you feel me? Like I don't see how it gets worse than that.
Makes this program even more disturbing.
And now, here's the exciting ending to this story.
One thing that we haven't discussed yet is who was actually the one behind the creation of the show. There's no doubt that it's David Berg's stories and was probably done at his request, but who is the one actually making it? Well, unfortunately, most of the people who worked on the show have their identities hidden by only using their first names, or even using straight-up aliases, so I could hardly find any information on any of them, with the exception of one, Peter Puppet. Peter Puppet was sort of a celebrity within the group, being responsible for numerous puppet shows, including one called The Lovettes, which was actually far more popular than Life with Grandpa. It was even supposedly broadcast on TV in the Philippines, with the show being a disturbing rabbit hole in its own right.
Would you like to hear a story? Well, then let's go see Grandpa in the garden. Hello, children. So nice of you to visit us in the garden today.
So they just do the grandpa sticks?
Puppet
That's why he
owned this
came with
group
him?
and was in charge of the Lovettes team. And coincidentally, the Lovettes just so happened to be credited as the producers of Life with Grandpa. So Peter Puppet was, at the very least, one of the contributing creators of the show. And he also seems to be the one in charge of performing the actual musical numbers on the show, as they featured puppets that belonged to Peter and the Lovettes team, with these segments interestingly being credited to an unknown man named Peter Pioneer.
We have a beautiful song from Peter Pioneer.
It's not a concrete link, but it's clear that Peter Puppet had a role in the show's creation and helped push the family's disturbed ideology onto hundreds of kids across the globe. But during the creation of Life with
Had
Grandpa,
to be knowingly. I don't care what nobody
his
says.
own beliefs were being tested. In the beginning of the video, we saw an example of the family's view on doctors.
Surely a doctor would have stitched it, but our God is still a God of miracles. Praise the Lord.
This sentiment was really common in the family, as Berg outright forbade any medicine or surgeries of any kind.
What?
Instead preaching that miracles from God were the only way to heal. And because of this, many members of the family with chronic ailments or fatal illnesses were basically left to die. And one of those left suffering was Peter Puppet. His life is almost entirely a mystery, as he lived in hiding in one of the family's compounds. But according to some of the group's members, one day he noticed something in his neck, a small lump. And over the next few weeks and months, it began to slowly get bigger and bigger, to the point that Peter had to go visit a doctor in order to see what was wrong. And it was there he learned that inside of him was an aggressive tumor that was only going to get larger. The good news was the tumor was actually operated.
I don't want to hear this. I'm sorry.
Tumor away with the other members. This, however, never happened.
I can't.
Instead, the mass began to grow at an even faster rate, to the point that those around him could notice it, eventually leading to Peter hiding away in his room, away from the others, not wanting to be seen. However, at some point during his strike...
I can't hear it. I'm sorry. I can't hear stuff like that. But I can't look at it, though. I'm not going to hold you. I like watching, like, very, what do you say, like, vivid, like, fighting TV shows and stuff like that, where they, like, yeah, do all that stuff. But when it come to hearing it and, like, the doctor stuff, I'm not going to lie. Some stuff I can't handle. I'm not going to hold you. If you just, like, cut in or, like, in GTA, I want to say, or, like, needle or anything like that, okay. But if you doing anything like that, like, it's exploding in you, I don't want to watch that. I'm sorry.
A photograph was taken showing the entire compound he was living with. And in the background, we see Peter, whose neck is impossibly large. From here, it said that Peter began to beg the family to take him to get the surgery, as the tumor was quite literally suffocating him slowly, turning him against the very beliefs that he once forced upon so many children over the years. But the family forbade it, insisting that he wait for a miracle that was never going to come. With nowhere else to turn, Peter Puppet supposedly ended his own life shortly after this photograph was taken, adding the final pillar of context to Life with Grandpa, a program that can only be described as the darkest children's show ever created.
Crazy as hell.
We've got to go now. Let's wave bye-bye, kids. God bless you. Come on, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Wow, is that it?
Sadly I wandered for
is his music. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't care if it, I don't care. Fuck you. I'll see y'all next video. Don't like, comment, subscribe, man. This man's an asshole. Fuck him. We David K. Fuck is you talking about? Fuck that nigga. Let me stop. I'll see y'all next video. Don't like, comment, subscribe, man. Peace out, y'all. This is fucked up. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't even want to click off. This is the last video for today.